All right, let's dive into one of the most intense and visually stunning chapters in the entire Bible, Revelation 16, and its vision of the seven last plagues. It's a wild ride, so let's get right to it.
I mean, the chapter just pulls no punches, does it? It hits you right away with these powerful cosmic images of total upheaval. But is this just chaos for the sake of chaos? Not at all. There's a deep logic to what's going on here. So let's break down what the source material is really showing us.
So the whole thing kicks off with this massive command straight from heaven. You've got 7 angels, and they're ordered to pour out 7 bowls of plagues onto the earth. And we're not talking about a small localized event here. This is a worldwide catastrophe, and it's being ordered from on high.
And here's the absolute key to understanding this chapter according to our source. These plagues are not random acts of nature. They are presented as a direct, powerful manifestation of divine wrath, a response to humanity's rebellion and disobedience.
And the results are, well, they're devastating. It's like creation is being dismantled piece by piece. First, painful sores break out on people. Then, the entire sea turns to blood, killing everything in it. Then, the rivers and springs do the same. After that, the sun gets superpowered and literally scorches people with intense heat. And finally, the kingdom of the beast, the symbol of worldly oppressive power, is thrown into complete and total darkness.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This whole sequence of events, it might sound familiar. The source material points out that this isn't the first time we've seen something like this, and that historical parallel is the key to unlocking what it all means.
Which, of course, leads you to ask, is all this destruction just random? Is it arbitrary? Or is there a pattern here, something we're supposed to recognize?
And bam! There it is. The connection is laid out so clearly. The plagues in Revelation, water turning to blood, a plague of darkness, painful sores, they're an unmistakable echo of the plagues that God sent on Egypt back in the book of Exodus. The parallel is deliberate and it is powerful. You know, what the author of Revelation is doing here is something scholars call intertextuality. It's super clever. He's intentionally having a conversation with the Old Testament. By bringing up the plagues of Egypt, he's basically saying that the oppressive Roman Empire of his day is the new Egypt. And just like God judged the old Egypt to free his people, he's going to judge this new one too.
Okay, so this whole new Egypt idea, it's not just a clever literary trick. It gets right to the heart of the chapter's big theological message. This isn't just about destruction, it's about justice and understanding the motivation behind it all.
And the source is really clear about this. These disasters aren't being portrayed as the random whims of an angry God. No, they're framed as the just, fair, and even inevitable consequences of humanity's own choices and actions.
You know, this whole chapter is really tackling a huge theological question called theodicy. It's a big word, but it just means trying to figure out how you can have a God who is both good and all-powerful in a world that's so full of suffering and evil. And here, we see justice and mercy get tangled up in a really profound way. So, what's the point of all this destruction? Well, let's look back to Egypt again. Those plagues weren't just about punishment, right? The ultimate goal was to liberate Israel. In exactly the same way, the source argues these final plagues have a redemptive purpose, to finally defeat the forces of evil, and most importantly, to rescue and protect the faithful.
And that leads us to this incredible pivot point in the chapter. Because right in the middle of all the fire and darkness and terrifying imagery, the whole tone shifts. A ray of hope cuts right through the chaos, and it's a direct message to those who are waiting.
And here it is, verse 15. A voice cuts through everything and says, "Behold, I come like a thief." Now the important part isn't the surprise, it's the warning that comes with it. Be ready, stay awake.
Now this is where that thief analogy gets really cool, because it means 2 totally different things depending on who you are. For the unprepared, yeah, it's a shocking, terrifying event that comes out of nowhere. But for those who are faithful, those who are watching and waiting, it's not a shock at all. It's the moment they've been waiting for, the ultimate apex of hope.
So it all comes down to one thing: vigilance, being ready. The source really hammers this home. It's that constant state of preparedness that transforms what could be a moment of cosmic fear into the ultimate moment of liberation. Okay, so all of this is building up to one massive final point. The chapter isn't just about predicting the future, it's about framing the ultimate choice that all of human history is leading toward.
So why are the plagues so terrifying? Well, according to the source, they serve one final purpose: to act as an urgent, final, impossible-to-ignore wake-up call for all of humanity,
to turn away from a path of self-destruction and toward the only true refuge.
Really, what this whole narrative is arguing is that history isn't just a random series of events. It's all heading somewhere. It's building to a climax. And at that final moment, it poses one single, direct question to every person who has ever lived. Whom will you serve?
And in the end, it all boils down to two very clear paths, leading to two very different destinies. You can choose the path of sin and death, or you can choose the path of Christ and eternal life. The text insists that the choice is yours.
And that's the central tension of the whole chapter, isn't it? It leaves us with this final, profound question. Is this an ending to be feared or a beginning to be hoped for? According to this text, the answer depends entirely on the choice you make.